Hey, thanks for joining me today. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. Folks, have you ever noticed how time flies when you're having fun? And by fun, I mean binge watching Netflix in your sweatpants. It's like 1 minute it's Monday morning, next thing you know, it's Friday night, and you've watched all 4 seasons of Ozark. Time really is the ultimate Netflix and chill. Seriously. Time's a cruel mistress. 1 minute, you're in your 20s. Next thing you know, you're struggling to get out of bed without throwing out your back. Don't even get me started on how fast technology is advancing. I mean, remember when a phone was a phone? Now it's a computer, it fits in your pocket. What's next? Smart toilets that give you a performance review after every poop? Oh, they have that already? Oh, God. And the worst thing is, time, we can't stop it. We can't slow it down. We can't rewind it. Can't even pause for a bathroom break. It's like a freight train. It's always moving forward. And we're just the little ants scurrying around on the tracks trying not to get squished. So folks, there's one thing I've learned in my many years on this earth. It's this. Time flies. So you might as well make the most of it. Go out there, live your best life, because before you know it, you'll be looking back and wondering where the hell it went. Time waits for no man. But that doesn't mean we can't try to keep up. My name is Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, it was interesting this morning. I get these things on my phone, you know, from Google or whatever. And it's like, hey, remember 6 years ago you were doing this awesome fun thing? Hey, remember 5 years ago you were out doing this thing? Remember this person you were with at the time? Yeah, they're gone now. Hey, remember this relationship you had? Yeah, that's over. But wasn't that fun? And it's interesting getting these reminders. And I'm like, I can't believe how quickly all this goes by. It's funny, it took me years to start this channel. I really wanted to start the channel, and it took me years before I got around to doing it. And even doing these live streams, I started this year, 2023, with live streams. And before, I always wanted to try live streams. I just didn't feel that I could do it. And I'm like, oh, I'll get to it at some point. And I'm glad that I've tried this experiment of streaming live. It is the thing to do in 2023. So to be able to do it and get better at it, it's really helping me out. But I'm just shocked at how quickly time just flies by. It's already spring. So if you had a New Year's resolution, quarter of a year is already passed. Yeah. So if you've made it this far, congratulations. And if you haven't done that thing that you wanted to do, well, you can get started now. I want to tell you about on Monday. Stay tuned on Monday. I will tell you about a new project that I've been working on. But let's look at the stories that we have today. President Jon Stewart. That's what some people are talking about. Ramadan has begun. Interesting story about some Russian protest music that you may find amusing and also sad. And the good news is that the U.S. housing prices have gone down. I want to talk about that as well today. But the question that I have for the chat is there something that you want to do this year? And I'm challenging you to just put it into the chat right now. Just let the world know I'm gonna do this thing. Maybe that will be the little push to get started, because we all need a little push sometimes getting started. Because before you know it, it's going to be the end of the year. And you'll be thinking, oh, I'll start next year. 2024. That's when I'll really get it all together. So let's get to the first story right now. Yes, Jon Stewart, President Jon Stewart. Howard Stern has suggested that Jon Stewart should run for president and urged him to launch a White House bid if President Biden chooses not to run for re-election. Stern praised Stewart's intelligence, wit, and measured approach to debates, as well as his advocacy work on Capitol Hill. Stern also noted that Stewart's popularity with the public could help him win an election. Stewart has rejected calls to run for president before, and a representative for him did not comment on Stern's suggestion. So let's see, there we go. Okay. But I think Jon Stewart would have a really good chance. You know, when you think about the Democrats and who is in the bullpen for the Democrats, who could run, and you think about the whole list of people that could run for the Democrats, don't even get me started on the other side, just the Democrats, and it's like, well, I don't think anybody wants Biden, right? Except maybe his son, to make sure he doesn't go to prison. But outside of that, does anyone want Biden to run? I don't think so. Does anyone think that Kamala can run and be successful? I don't think so either. And you just look through the who's who potential candidates. None look good. By comparison, Jon Stewart looks like an absolute winner to all of them. Now, I bring this up because Howard Stern talked about it and therefore made it news. It doesn't really matter who talked about it and who brought it up. I think it is an interesting idea. I don't know why Jon Stewart would want to be president, but I don't know why anyone would want to be president. But perhaps he will feel like he will be saving the world if he ran. And that's a pretty good reason, because I think that is why Trump thinks that he wants to be president, to save the country. I believe that that's what he thinks. And I think that Jon Stewart could think that he might have some influence if he were president as well. It's reminiscent to me of when Zelensky ran in Ukraine. Now, it turns out, now, in hindsight, I'm not a big fan of his presidency, and he seems like a super corrupt, insane, maniacal world leader. But I didn't think that at the time when he was running. When he was running, I thought it was really funny. I thought it was kind of cool that a comedian that had a TV show about accidentally becoming president would run to become president. I thought that was a kind of a fun story because I didn't know a whole lot about the country. But I think Jon Stewart would have a really good chance if he decided to get into politics. What do you think? What do you think? Because I think it would be it'd be a slam dunk. I would agree. And if not Jon Stewart, who could run as a Democrat that people would actually want to vote for? Because I think last time people voted for Biden, but it was really a vote against Trump. Okay, I don't think anyone thought, yeah, Joe Biden, he's the man. He's going to get all the good stuff done. They were voting against Trump. I don't think a second time around people are going to vote against Trump for the most part. Democrats need somebody to vote for. Who can they vote for? They can't vote for Biden. They can't vote for Kamala. They could for Jon Stewart, but who else? Let me know in the comment who you think would be a good candidate that people would want to vote for in the Democratic Party. Let me know. All right. I have noticed in playing back my show, I say all right at the beginning of nearly every story. And I'm saying this out loud to you as a reminder to me that I need to knock it off and not do that. Pardon me. Excuse me. Muslims around the world have begun the holy month of Ramadan, which involves a month of fasting from sunrise to sunset, as well as prayer and charity. However, this year, many will struggle to afford holiday treats due to economic crisis and soaring prices, particularly in Iran, Egypt, and Lebanon. The month has also been shadowed by suffering in conflict zones across the Muslim world, including Syria, where a recent earthquake killed over 52,000 people. Despite the challenges, more than 1.8 billion Muslims are expected to observe Ramadan, which culminates in a festive three-day holiday of Eid al-Fitr. So I will say that I don't know a whole lot about Ramadan. It started last night at sunset, I believe, is how it works. Don't know a whole lot about it. Don't know many Muslims. I've known a couple. Known a couple in my life, but don't know a whole lot about it. But this is their month-long observation of Ramadan. And they'll be fasting during the day. There have been lots of things that come up, such as, kids in school, if they're fasting and they get free lunch, should they be given something to take home to have later? Or, I don't know. There's lots of interesting questions around that. But what is your experience with Ramadan? I really don't have much. Very, very, pretty much none. So I don't have a whole lot to add to this. Let me know how it's going for you in the comments. Okay, this is protest music. This is an interesting story, and I'll get to why in just a second. Let me get that started there. Okay, here's the story. This Russian musician, famous for an anti-war protest song, dies after falling through an icy river. It's a very, very silly music. Very silly music video that you can check out here. Dmitry Svirganov, founder of the popular Russian band Cream Soda, died at the age of 35 after falling through ice while crossing the Volga River with his brother and 3 friends. Two of Svirganov's friends were rescued, while the third died in an ambulance. Cream Soda's hit Aqua Disco, that's the video that's playing right now, was frequently sung at anti-war protests in Russia. The group confirmed his death in an Instagram post and shared photos of him and his friend. Cream Soda released 4 studio albums and collaborated with various artists during their career. The band gained attention in 2021 when their song was used in a video criticizing Vladimir Putin's alleged $1.3 billion mansion. So this is the music video where they're kind of clowning the fact that Putin has this mansion that they valued at $1.3 billion. That's pretty big. I think I actually did a video tour. I think I did a video on Putin's mansion a couple years ago. Often, critics of very powerful people seem to meet untimely deaths, and that often brings up conspiracies. You know, there's like all these people that were associated with the Clintons that, you know, wind up dead. People with Putin that just wind up, you know, falling out of high-rise buildings and things like that. Obviously, a lot of them are suspicious deaths. That's just how it is. In this particular case, it doesn't appear to be a suspicious death, but this type of thing will always bring up people wondering, how did this happen? Was Putin behind this? I think it would be pretty elaborate to decide that he knew that they were going to be walking along the river and pick a piece of ice to break and have them all fall in the Volga River. But at least that's just what the story that they're telling us is. I suspect that this was probably a natural thing, but what do I know? I don't know about this. I did go through a couple songs of Cream Soda, and they're very kind of low effort and silly. It's kind of inspiring me with this whole time goes by. Perhaps there's still time for me to become a big viral music sensation. What should I be writing protest songs about? Give me some suggestions in the comments. Yeah, I just thought that this was an interesting story. I don't think that there's really anything there. I think it was just a tragic event. Some guys were out and they just fell through the ice. But what do I know? Anyway, let's get to the next story. And we need some good news, right? Good news is what we need. Well, we've got it. The median price for existing homes in the U.S. fell 0.2% in February compared to the previous year, marking the first year-over-year decline in home prices since February 2021. The drop in prices was down 12.3% from a record high in June. But this does not necessarily mean a break for prospective homebuyers, as mortgage rates have also risen in tandem with the Federal Reserve's inflation-fighting interest rate hikes. While many economists expect home prices to continue to fall, inventory levels remain below normal, which could prevent steep price declines. Property prices have also dropped in other countries like Great Britain, Germany, the Netherlands, Canada, Australia, and Sweden, being one of the hardest hit. But this is kind of good news if you're looking for a house. I know a lot of people, the pandemic hit, things went crazy. They wanted to get a house. They couldn't get a house because the prices just went out of control. And perhaps now there's an opportunity for you. With inventory being so low, though, I don't think it's going to drop down a tremendous amount. One of the reasons that inventory is so low is property just keeps being bought up by the uber wealthy and by hedge funds and by these different international groups. That starter homes are actually a really good investment, because you can buy the home, rent it out, make all that money. And then if need be, you can just knock the house down, put up an apartment. That works as well. I don't know in the near future if anyone's even going to be able to get a starter home. They might just be gone because they're not building new starter homes. They're just building apartments now. I think that's kind of the grand plan, is to keep all the peasants, all the proles in apartments. They're easier to control like that. You certainly don't want someone having their own house, because having a house really does give you a lot more freedom than having a landlord. So I do think that this is a positive time. Again, time waits for no one. And if you are looking to get a house, now might be the last time that may even be possible. So you could consider that. Let me know what you think. Do you think that's good news? I know I've looked at the Zillow value of this place I'm in right now. It's taken a hit. It's taken a pretty steep hit over the past year. But let me know how it's going for you in the comments. Stick around the after show. I will address your comments. That's all I have today. Today was a shorter program. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. But I will be back mañana with a Fact Check Friday. And I think it's going to be a fantastic episode. So please stick around for that. And I will see you in the after show. All right. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. I do appreciate that. Say what's up to Duggo and Apothecary John over on Rumble. Thanks for checking in over there. Lots of comments. I really love it. And you know what I also appreciate? When I come on to start the show and I already have a couple likes, I do think that makes a difference. I do think that, the powers that be, the algorithm kind of puts it out there. Hey, this is good. So check it out. But we got all the awesome regular people every day. Apothecary John's there. Lucid Moments of Reality 5150 made it. Flame on. Nuance waits for no man. I like that. That's good. The Eerie Fairy is here. I am no man. Favorite line from Lord of the Rings. I've read Lord of the Rings. I read the books. I've tried watching the movie. I've never made it through any of the Lord of the Rings movies. There's something about, I don't know, the visuals of it, just moving so much, and my eyes get tired, and I guess I'm not made for watching a movie that long. I've fallen asleep every single time I've tried to watch it. So it is what it is. My phone isn't in my pocket. It's in my hand 24/7. Yes, that is true for a lot of people. Jody Houts says, never a notification. Them tube for sure. Yeah, I doubt you're going to get a notification from this channel. It seems to me that this channel's pretty much buried. So if you want to watch it, you're just going to have to remember and come here to watch it. I've just kind of accepted that. 2023 year of the streamer. Oh, Doug says he was notified. That's cool. Tom, you dress like my dad. I miss him. We all wore Hawaiian shirts for his funeral. It was beautiful. Oh, that's really touching, Natasha. That's really touching. Yeah, I like the Aloha shirts, the Hawaiian shirts, because life is short. Life waits for no one. It really does. And this, to me, is a reminder uh, that I want to live my life like it's a holiday, like I'm not working all the time. Like I want to have a vacation mindset, and that's why I wear these shirts. House prices down, but cost of interest rate up equals same out-of-pocket cost. That may be true. That may be true. One thing to consider, though, if you want to, and I could probably, I can talk about this like for an hour. But that's how you make money, is with debt. Okay, that's how you do it. If you just hold on to everything you have, it just becomes worth less and less and less over time because of inflation and the printing all of the money and everything. And so if you were to purchase debt today, right, let's say you were to you buy a $500,000 house today, okay, and the interest rates are whatever they are, okay. Well, it is what it is today, but when you're paying this off 20 years from now, right, you're paying off a $500,000 house, but now that $500,000 house is worth a whole lot more. Additionally, what you're using US dollars, those are worth a whole lot less. So that's something to keep in mind. If you can, I really think that if you have the opportunity, purchasing right now is a really good idea. Hashtag I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take financial advice from some idiot on on your phone. So, okay. I've wanted to eat all the different varieties of ice cream at Brahms, not all in one sitting, but over time there's about 100 different flavors. Well, you see, that right there, that could be a fun social media thing. You can make an Instagram account and you go once a week and you make a little video about each different flavor. That could be kind of fun. That could be a fun thing to do. I don't know. Is that a Brahms? I don't know. Is that a store, or is that a something you get in the grocery store? I'm unfamiliar with that brand. I'm gonna buy a '67 Olds coupe and just drive around for real. Been planned for a year now, says Lucid Moments of Reality 5150. That's really cool. I say do it. When I lived in Dallas, a guy I knew, Brian, became a friend of mine. He was a chef at a restaurant, head chef at a fancy restaurant in the trendy area of Dallas. And he always wanted an old, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was a Cadillac. He wanted like a gold metal flake Cadillac. And he's just like, that's what I want. And so he bought one and had the Longhorns put on the front at the grill. Just these huge horns on the front of his car. And he had it for about a year because he had always wanted that. And then finally, when he was making enough money, he could afford it. And he did it. And he did it for a short while. And so that's the thing. If there's something you've really been wanting to do, buy a '67 Olds coupe. I say do it. Do it. Let me know. I want to see pictures of this. That would be really awesome. So that you have my permission. If Howard Stern likes it, I probably don't. That's what Tobias was here says. Howard Stern has kind of lost his mind over recent years, especially over COVID and especially over Trump. He's just really, I think it's polluted his mind so much so that he can't even be rational. So the important thing about the story is I just wanted to talk about Jon Stewart, not Howard Stern. But I think typically But here's the thing. Even if there's someone that you disagree with on most things, or you think you disagree with them on most things, you probably agree with them on a lot of things. Maybe just not politics. But, most people like good food. Most people like good shows. Most people, like spending time with their family. We got a lot in common. Natasha says, my first car was a 66 Mustang. Ooh, nice. Had it for about 28 years. Sweet memories. That's nice. Howard Stern is kind of a jerk to his guests. Kind of. Nice to see you making content again. World needs more nuance. Thank you. Is it Balnor? Balnor. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for joining us today. Nuance mining sounds like an admirable skill. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a Democrat that Natasha says might be good. I would love to see RFK Jr. run. I would love that. I think he is a man of integrity, and there's not a whole lot of that in Washington. So I would be for that. I'm not old enough to run, unfortunately, says Apothecary John. Tulsi, but I don't think she considers herself a Dem anymore, at least not technically. No, Tulsi is not a Dem. She's a registered independent. I don't know what her future will be. But I typically agree with her on many, many things. Probably more so than any other politician I can think of. But she is an independent now, and I don't expect her to run for president again. But, we'll see. All right. Yes, I do say that. Natasha says, instead of all right, you should say Meshuggah. That's not really a natural thing for me to say. But it is a verbal tic that I have identified. And that's the thing, is if you can identify it, then you can work on it. If you can't work on things you don't identify. So I've identified it. Leave us a link to that music video, Tom. Cream Soda, Aqua Disco. I will leave a link to that in the description of the video, probably 5 minutes after the video is done. I'll have the links in the description of the video, and usually within 5-10 minutes or so, I have all of the time codes done, so you can skip to the different parts of the video. Vlad lives good. Yes. Vladimir Putin doing pretty well for himself. I bet Putin actually liked the video. It was a silly, silly video. Let's see. Low effort and silly. The world needs that right now. That's the thing. I can do low effort and silly. I should get in on this. I need to make some protest songs. That would be fun. Man tries to fly after making inflammatory statements. News at 11. Yeah, there have been a number of critics of Putin that have fallen out of high rises in Moscow. If you are a critic of Putin, best to stay on the ground floor. That just seems to happen. Horrible news if you bought a home anytime recently. Actually, not horrible, because you probably got a better rate than what is available right now. And now you're locked in. Now you're doing it. Now it's happening. This inflation is not going away. So inflation is actually really good if you owe a lot of money. Okay, so I know that this may be counterintuitive, right? But the higher the inflation it is, the better it is if you owe a lot of money. So if you owe $1 million today, well, that's worth $1 million, right? But if inflation goes up a whole lot, right? Now you're paying off the $1 million, but the money's worth a whole lot less. Does that make sense? It's counterintuitive. It really is. I really need to come up with a step-by-step way to explain, time value of money, especially with inflation. That'd be a good thing for me to work on. I'll work on that. Let's see. BlackRock buying up lots of homes. Yes, BlackRock and lots of hedge funds are just buying up homes because they're profitable and they hold their value long term. Property does hold value as well, if not better than most investments that you can make. Good news really is hard to find. It is. You'll own nothing and be happy. Well, I don't want that to be the case. I want you to own something and be happy. We got to fight these WEF stuff. I bought a home just to put a parlor grand piano in it. One my father bought, and it was in my family when growing up. Well, that's cool. A parlor grand piano. You got to have a pretty big place to put that in. So that's pretty awesome. I was always here. Hey, Amanda. Nice to see you. See, Rumble is becoming a viable alternative. People like Steven Crowder and Russell Brand are helping to make it happen, regardless of what one might think of them specifically. Yes, I am trying to push the Rumble. I am getting a number of views on Rumble. Still not a lot of interaction, not a lot of comments, not a lot of likes. But apparently I'm getting more views in Rumble. So hopefully that can be an area that we can grow. I do know now that if you have a smart TV, you can actually put Rumble on your TV. They have, I don't think it's an official app, it's an unofficial app, but you're able to put that on your Roku TV or your smart TV. So that's kind of cool. More alternatives, more better. Have you ever been to Hailohati, Tom? Hawaiian clothing factory in Hawaii. Pretty neat, or at least it was 20 years ago. I have not been to Hawaii since, I don't know, mid-90s. And when I was there, I did not go to it. At the time, I wasn't even into Hawaiian shirts, or this is kind of a new thing for me the last couple of years. Got into the Hawaiian shirts and the tiki and all that fun stuff. So, no, I do have a number of shirts from Hailohati. They're great shirts, but I have not been to their factory. But I'd definitely go to that if I were out in Hawaii again. Brahms is an ice cream store, plus they do burgers, fries, and such. You lived in Dallas-Fort Worth but never went to Brahms? No, never did. But again, just because you live somewhere doesn't know. I'm shocked at how many things that I don't know about, It turns out that there were a couple Cracker Barrels here in Portland. I didn't know that there were Cracker Barrels in Portland. Well, now they're closing them. But yeah, I didn't even know until they announced that they were closing them. I didn't even know that they existed. So there's lots of stuff out there that we don't know about. Brahms, never been. I don't think that I've been. I think Dallas-Fort Worth, one of my favorite places was Cafe Brazil. But no, I did not know Brahms ice cream. Never forget 2008. Not all opportunities are good deals. Most lost their homes and were left underwater. Well, that many were. It really depended if you were set yourself up in the proper way or not. Yeah, they were giving a lot of loans and not advising the people on the right way to keep them. You know, it's kind of like the reservation. You know, you have to hold the reservation, right? Just getting the reservation's not the important part. It's keeping it. So if you buy a home, it's not just buying the home. You want to be able to keep the home and pay the home off. Right. So, let's see. So Putin is a fan of defenestration. That's the favorite word of a friend of mine. Don't get to use it in conversation often. Yeah, defenestration. Going out the window. See, property holds no value in East Palestine. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Business closings in Portland. Imagine my shock. Yeah, lots of businesses closing, but you know, businesses opening. We're kind of on a downtick. Lots of things closing here, but it is what it is. I'm holding out hope that the city will turn around. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you have a beautiful day. I will be back tomorrow with a Fact Check Friday. Thanks for hitting the like button, and I will see you mañana. Peace.